the next thing we're going to do is put in the curtain walls on the first floor. Curtain walls are glass walls with mullions, and Revit has a special wall type for those. And just to show you what we're doing is on the first floor is sort of this framed out curtain wall with a door in it, with the entry door in it. So we're going to put that guy in. And there's apparently their electrical service. It's interesting. Okay. So here it is. It has these two mullions, but we're just going to put this one mullion in. And so to create the curtain wall, go to your wall command under your architecture tab, and you're going to go to the flyout and pick, it's pretty far down, so scroll pretty far down, and you're going to pick the curtain wall FOBA. And this is just a curtain wall that I've set up for you guys to use. And so what we're going to do is we are just going to left click in the center of this wall and drag to the right and left click. And it's going to place a curtain wall on there, and it's going to place another one, and I'm just going to hit the modify to stop that command. So it has a mullion on this end and a mullion on that end, but we need another mullion to represent the door. And that door, if we do a distance on it, let's see, it's about, we'll say it's 3 feet wide. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually look at an elevation of this wall. So if I pick that wall, I just want to make sure it starts at plan 1 and goes up to plan 2, and that's what I want. Okay, so I've created a section that looks at this wall. You can create a section if you don't have one or deleted it. I just drew a quick section in here, so I'm going to double click on that, and it's going to bring me into the elevation where I can see that wall and elevation. Now if you go to the architecture tab, there are some curtain wall options in here, and we want to create a curtain grid. So click on curtain grid, and if you hover over it, you'll see that it will give you a grid line. And it's not, you don't have to get it in the exact right place. We can move it afterwards. So I'm going to left click, and it's going to place a curtain wall grid in there. And it wants to place more of them, but I only need that one. So I'm going to go to modify to stop that command. Now one thing to know about the curtain walls is it's basically a reference plane with reference line divisions on it that have mullions attached to it. So when you want to move the mullion, you actually have to select the reference line or curtain grid that's under it, because the mullion is actually attached to it. It's restricted to that grid line. And if you try to move the mullion model part itself, it won't let you do it. You have to tab in until you pick that curtain wall grid, and then you can move that. And I'm just going to say 3'2" is probably fine. Let's do a length between there and there. That's 2'10". So if we really wanted it to be a 3-foot door, we would have to move that mullion over 1 3/4. So it just depends on how exact you want to be. So that would be 3 3/4 inches. Okay, so now that guy is there. Now if you don't ever want that to move, you can actually pin it. So if I pin it, now that won't move, but that's up to you. You don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go to plan 1 and show you something. That curtain wall is in, but it's really just a window, and we really want a door there. And you actually can put a door in a curtain wall. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to control tab back to my elevation. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tab until I select that curtain panel. So see how it has curtain panel current? I'm going to select that, and over in the type selector, it's allowing me to change the type of curtain panel that I have in there. So right now it's a system panel glazed. If I go to the pull down, it's going to give me a couple of different options. There's a curtain wall single glass, and there's a curtain wall single glass with frame. And I want to pick the curtain wall single glass with frame. I'm going to pick that, and it's actually going to put a door in there. And now if I go to plan 1, you're going to see that the door has a swing, and it's going the wrong way. So I'm going to flip it And then I'm going to flip it again this way. So now that door is swinging out. And it's just happens to be right now because it's selected the same color as the line from the AutoCAD drawing. So I'm going to Control Tab back. Now the only thing that's a little weird now is that we have this mullion at the bottom of our door that we want the door to go all the way to the ground. So you can actually pick that mullion, and there's a little pin in it that's actually pinning it to that curtain wall grid exterior. And if you undo that pin, you can delete it. And now that door goes all the way to the ground. So now we have a door in our curtain wall. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Plan 1. I'm going to zoom out, sort of pan over, and here's another curtain wall, right, with a door in it. So I'm just going to do the same thing there. I'm going to go to Wall and go to the center line. See if it'll give me the center line. It won't, so I'm just going to left click on this and draw to there, and it's going to put that in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the curtain wall system. You're tempted to want to pick the mullion and try to move the mullion. You want to either pick a grid line when you're trying to move the mullions in plan, but when you're trying to move the whole system, you want to pick this center line. And if I pick that center line, I can then move the whole system, back. And it's a little bit different. You can always come in and, move this wall to align with this. And I like to use the align command for that. So I'm going to go to the modify. I'm going to align with that line, the end of that wall, right? So now that's done. And let's go ahead and pick this guy and see it's going up to level Plan 2, which is great. And then we can do the same thing. We can go in and put a door in here. Now we need to be, we actually need to be in, yeah, you can actually just pick it in plan, go to your flyout and pick that with frame. And now there's a door in there and you want to flip it, until it goes out. Let's see, I think I'm supposed to put a mullion in there. No, it's a pretty big door, so maybe we'll leave it at that. So now we've got that, and if I go into my 3D view, we've got the curtain wall down at the bottom, and we've got the curtain wall door here, and the only thing left to do is delete the mullion on the bottom of this one. So if I tab in there, get that mullion, unpin it, and delete it. Sometimes when you're working with other curtain wall systems, you will have to unpin the panel before it will allow you to place the door in there. So that's something you should be aware of. Okay. All right. So that's the curtain wall panels.